My life story is still unfolding currently. I'm going through a divorce process and property division. I spent a whole 27 years in marriage with my wife, and we have 3 children. A 25-year-old son and 2 daughters of the same age. I am 50 years old, and my wife is 47. Our 3rd child came into our lives when I was 45, and my wife was 42. I am not overweight, and I haven't lost my hair, on the contrary. I have thick hair, albeit half of it is already gray. My wife and friends say it doesn't spoil my appearance, and I know that I appeal to women. I don't smoke, hardly drink, and everything is fine with my potency, and it's not an empty boast. Before all this messy story started, our intimacy was regular, mainly in the morning, as it was the most productive time considering the body's relaxation. It wasn't once every 6 months or a month, but at least 3 times a week, sometimes even more, every morning or every other day. Our intimacy was diverse and free from forbidden topics. Throughout the years with my wife, I didn't engage in extramarital affairs, although they happened before her. I loved my wife, remained faithful to her, and had no interest in seeking someone else. In her, I found everything I needed. Knowing every inch of her body, we understood each other, aware of what brought pleasure to the other. So, in this aspect, everything was fine. In the summer, we planned to celebrate our 27th wedding anniversary, and I wanted to arrange a getaway for us in Cyprus. However, this cursed pandemic emerged, forcing us to cancel all plans, but in the grand scheme of things, these are just minor inconveniences. In February, I was waiting for an unpleasant surprise. It turned out that my life, like a blow to the face, crashed into a concrete wall. It was all a standard story of a service novel, as I was told before the new year. It all started with a corporate party. It is not known how true this was, but at this point it no longer mattered. Some actress, apparently, eliminated the competitor, and then it turned out that he was 6 years younger than her. He is 41 and has a wife and a 14-year-old daughter. He holds the position a little higher than my wife, finding himself former. He became the first intimacy for her right. During the corporate party in his office, these details are known to me from the words. They avoided texting each other to leave no trace. But one evening, I realized, did not close his office door, perhaps because of the rush. It was then, through my mobile, that I received a video from an unknown number. The first reaction was to hit her, and luckily she was not at home. In fact, I have never raised my hand on her in my life. Then I calmed down and started thinking about what to do next. It was not possible to go to her lover with a fight. Then I decided to figure out that living with her would no longer work out. It was clear, but what to do with our shared possessions? I have a company that I myself created, and I did not plan to share it in half. I decided to start by divesting assets. Pretending I didn't know anything. How I managed to maintain external calm, I myself do not know. You will not envy the enemy. The whole incident cooled our close relationship, and kissing became the past. I said I felt unwell, and she even expressed anxiety at offering to go to the hospital, but even with her caring eyes, desires to attach themselves well surfaced. I sold my car with an excuse to update it, and then her car was sold as well. He said that there is an opportunity to buy something better. The money received from the firm was my only bright moment. Self-isolation helped. And at the same time, the end of many years of business came, which was forced to close, paying the last salary and dismissing everyone due to ruin. I made a withdrawal of money from accounts, began the process of liquidation of the company. At the same time, I set up a similar venture in the name of my mother, who, despite his 74 years, remained cheerful. My wife did not suspect anything and hoped for a luxury car. Summing up, by May, I completed all the business, leaving only a 3-room apartment in a new house, over which it is difficult to carry out repairs. We also have a country house, but I do not plan to share it with my wife. A snag arose with our country house, as the land belonged to my grandfather and grandmother, and there stood an old house. My wife and I dreamed of a modern house built on that site. After the death of my grandmother, my mother inherited the land, and we built a new house there, despite the fact that the wife adores this house. Questions about joint ownership remained in the air. I realized that I could miss something, and my wife felt something was wrong, starting to worry about my indifference and lack of manifestations of love. I understood that we needed to talk. She probably already felt something was going wrong. When I looked at her, she was shaking, determined to show her the video. She suddenly fell to her knees, asking for forgiveness in silence, sobbing and wrapping her legs. I was tormented by the question of why. However, she could not give an adequate answer, only repeated that she was mistaken. Did not realize her actions. Ultimately, her son turned his back on her. The eldest daughter also wanders between us, condemns the youngest, but does not fully understand why the parents no longer live together. I decided to resort to the help of a lawyer to share an apartment and keep my daughter with me. She had nothing left, no car, no money, no firm, in the end. She annulled everything we had.